Good day folks, today in this little video we're going to be taking a look at some ND filters by Freewell Gear for the DJI Osmo Pocket. So if you've watched any of my other videos featuring some ND filters by Freewell Gear for some of my other drones and GoPro, you know that I really like the Freewell Gear brand. They make excellent ND filters. They come in at a good price. Now they've gone ahead and released some new ND filters for the DJI Osmo Pocket, and I'm pretty excited about it. Just for the fact that you can match the look of your content if you're adhering to the 180-degree rule. There's going to be a lot of people purchasing an Osmo Pocket for B-roll footage, and that way you can still match your content if you're making any kind of cinematic videos. There's a couple different sets you can get from Freewell Gear. When you order them, you do get a cleaning cloth, and I do recommend always making sure you have a cleaning cloth on you, as these filters are very small, and when you're installing them, it's almost near impossible not to get a fingerprint on it. So definitely make sure you have a cleaning cloth or a cleaning pen nearby, and that way you can clean the lenses after you put them on. So Freewell Gear sells a couple different ND filter kits for the Osmo Pocket. They sell a standard day pack, a bright day pack, and then they have their all day pack, which is what this one here is. So the standard day pack comes with an ND4, an ND8, and an ND16. It also comes with a polarizer filter. Now in their bright day pack, you can see them down here at the bottom, they come with an ND8, ND16, ND32, and an ND64. Now they're kind of a hybrid ND filter, as they come with built-in polarizers. You can adjust them by spinning the dial. Very hard not to get fingerprints on those little lenses. Now these connect very easily because they have built-in magnets, and they just connect to the front very simply and very quickly. And once installed, you can see they're on there very securely. They're not going to come off during normal use. A brief explanation of why you want to use an ND filter on your Osmo Pocket. It allows you to adhere to the 180-degree rule. For those of you who knows what that is, you can go ahead and skip this part. If you're not sure what it is, maybe you're brand new to cinematography, I'll kind of give you a brief explanation here. So if you're outside filming, especially on bright days, the camera's going to set your shutter speed very high to help cut back the light entering the camera. The problem with that is that the footage can look very jittery and stark. Now when viewing video, the eye really likes to see a little bit of motion blur. So if you have action on the screen like a car screaming by, it's going to look very odd. So to achieve motion blur, there's a rule, and it's called the 180-degree rule. So to achieve that motion blur, you simply have to set your shutter speed double that of your frame rate. So if you're shooting at 60 frames per second, you want your shutter speed at 1/120th of a second. However, the problem with that rule is if you set your shutter speed to 1/120th of a second on a bright day outside, your image is going to be way overexposed. It's going to be blown out. So that's where these ND filters come in. They basically act like a pair of sunglasses that cut back the light that can enter the camera. So depending on how bright the day is, that's when you would choose between an ND4, an ND8, an ND16, and so on. Now, sometimes it's trial and error for picking an ND filter. You got to put one on, see how it looks, and if it's too bright or too dark still, then you have to adjust it accordingly. Now, with experience, you kind of usually can get it the first time. You can kind of gauge the day and know what ND filter to pick right out of the box. So those who are new to the Mimo app and new to ND filters, I'll just kind of go in and show you how to adjust your shutter speed to make use of your ND filters. Basically, we're going to click the three dots down in the bottom left-hand corner, and we're going to switch over to Pro mode. That's going to give us some new tools in which we can use to set our shutter speed. Now, if we go back to the main screen and we click on this auto button here, you can see that we have the camera set in auto. So what we're going to do is switch over to manual. And you can see at the top here we can set our ISO. Ideally, you always want it at 100. 100 will give you the least amount of noise in your video. So when at all possible, leave it at 100. So I'm in a dark room right now, so this isn't going to be 100% accurate, but good enough to show you how to do it. So right now I've got an ND4 installed on the Osmo Pocket, and we're filming at 60 frames per second. So that means we want our shutter speed at 1/120th of a second. So we're going to scroll through the list until we find the 1/120th right there. As you can see, it's a little dark because really indoors here I don't need that ND filter. But if I was to take this outside, it would probably have a good exposure because it is a little overcast today. So that's just basically a quick overview at how you set your shutter speed to match your ND filter. Now, even though you don't have all those pro settings on the Osmo Pocket, once you set it on your smartphone and you disconnect the Osmo Pocket, it will retain those pro settings. If the brightness of the day changes, you need to plug it back into your smartphone and readjust the settings. I do hope that DJI in a firmware update does add the ability to adjust all those settings via the Osmo Pocket itself. So now on those really bright days, we can use the bright day pack, and they attach the same way. They have some magnets built into them that holds them securely in place. With them, we have the added bonus of adjusting the polarizing ring. Now you'll notice that they have some lines at the bottom there, and for ideal polarization you want to line up the notches. But you can adjust it to whatever you need depending on the brightness of the day. Now having a polarizer can really help bring out the saturation in your footage as it cuts back on glare from water, glass, anything with a shiny surface. If you're filming landscapes, it can really help bring out the color of the sky, and it also helps more detail be visible in clouds. So yeah folks, that is the ND filter set by Freewell Gear for the Osmo Pocket. I highly recommend them. They're a good quality product, and like I said, I own them for almost every product I own, and I've always been very happy with them. Not only that, the folks at Freewell Gear stands behind their products. If you ever have a problem with them, all you have to do is give them a shout and they will look after you promptly. Well folks, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos, and we'll see you in the next one.